Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Do a live stream here. Wait for a few of you guys to show up in the chat. Give my opinion about what I think about. I see on Instagram Eddie Hearn came out, or is it Twitter? It's one of the social medias. I just seen the caption of it, seen the article on boxing saying that they're going to exercise their right to a rematch, and it's going to take place November, December, somewhere in there of this year. And right now, we're waiting for the particulars, waiting to see what venue will be at, where it will be at, as far as country, things like that. Um, I've always, I'm kind of traditional with my stance on this. I think that whoever has the belt, if you spark the upset or if you win the first fight or however it goes, I think, especially if you're the champion, I think you should be able to, have a lot to say, some say so, and where the fight should be held during negotiations because you earned that right. All right. But I guess we'll sit and wait to see where it will be at. And if it is here in the States, I will be at that fight. Um, yeah, so hopefully it is here in the States, man. Wait for a few more to show up, man, because I want to go back and forth with some of you guys and we just bounce our opinions off each other. What you think about, this rematch. 503 line, what's good, bro? Gabe, what's up? You says, Gabe asked me who I got winning this time. I'm going to get to that in a minute, Gabe. AZ, what's up? Before I get to the actual rematch and what I think about it, man. Now, look, we can go throughout history with guys having rematches, immediate rematches, things not working out so well. Uh, we go out just throughout the history, man. I can kind of pick and choose here. Let me see what I come off top of my head. Floyd Patterson and Igmar Johansson, right? Johansson destroyed him in the first fight. Patterson came back and won two very entertaining fights out of that trilogy. Um, Look at a guy like Evander Holyfield was able to bounce back after losing the boat. Then he lost the third fight, but he bounced back after the first loss. Lennox Lewis against Asim Rockman. Then you had times where it didn't work out, where you had like Floyd Patterson when he got destroyed by the great Sonny Liston. Both of them great fighters, but when Liston destroyed him twice in a row. Or when Larry Holmes lost the second fight, which I thought he beat Michael Spinks, man, but Spinks beat him two times in a row. You can go back and forth with this. Mike Tyson, people thought he had an off night against Holyfield. Second time around, he was so frustrated, he bit Evander's ear off. You dig what I'm saying? So, Lennox Lewis coming back and beating Hasim Rockman, and Oliver McCall had a nervous breakdown in the rematch with Lennox. You can go back and forth with a lot of this stuff. The second time around when Vladimir Klitschko was able to catch Lehman Brewster later on in his career, he was able to beat him. You know what I mean? So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Evander Holyfield fight Michael Moore for the second time. You dig what I'm saying? So we can kind of go all over the place. To me, it's unique to the circumstances of that individual fighter. All right. Now, a lot of other fans, a lot of people, especially a lot of people who I'm sub to, um, they think that Anthony Joshua, and I'm a believer of this too, man. I'm kind of in that same mind frame. I don't think this is a good idea, but Anthony Joshua wants it. I went on his Instagram account just to see how he would be after this loss. Now look at a guy like Dominic Brazil, not to throw him in here, throw him under the bus, but I'm just using this as an example of how guys take losses, especially losses that can be deemed and viewed as embarrassing. And boxing is, man, tough sport, man. You get embarrassed, get knocked out. Nobody wants to be knocked out and be created into a meme, right? You know what I mean? Boxing is one of the worst sports to after a loss. The internet is not kind. I'm seeing a whole bunch of cartoons and memes and all types of stuff. But I went to AJ's Instagram just to see how he's dealing with it. He seems pretty upbeat. You almost seem like he won the fight. You know what I mean? He's very I don't know if it's just him having his family and friends around him that's making him smile. I don't know if it's just for the camera. Maybe it's genuine. I have no idea. I don't hang around Anthony Joshua on an everyday basis, but for what I'm seeing on his Instagram and social media and things like that, he seems upbeat. He wants his rematch. Uh, that's just what it seems like. You dig what I'm saying? Then he has some few things on there, like he has, like he's kind of reposting all the cartoons, and there's one little meme he had where it was him and Ruiz standing next to each other. You guys go to Instagram, you can see this. and above the caption read, "You versus the guy, your girl, or something like that, your homeboy or whatever told you not
Your
to."
girl told you not to
Yeah,
worry
you
about.
versus the guy your girl told you not to worry about. So he's kind of throwing some jokes there, you know. So I don't. He's kind of. I don't know, man. Everybody handles losses differently, so I'm not going to dock him or anything like that. That's how he's choosing to handle it. Fine, you know what I mean. Some guys, again, I was going to bring up Dominic Brazil. He turned his social. He kind of disconnected from social media, where yeah,
Deactivated his
he
Instagram.
deactivated his Instagram account. Then he later came back a couple days later, you know what I mean, and resurfaced and had his Instagram reactivated. But some guys are different, you know what I mean. So you know, some guys can hold their head up and smile and say, "Hey, give me my rematch." Some guys, you know, say, "Hey, man, I just, you know, I'm going to come back, but right now I don't want to be bothered. Just let me get my thoughts together. I'm pissed off." People handle it differently. You dig what I'm saying? So this is how he's choosing to handle it. Um, I think the style matchups is just all bad here, man. I don't think there was nothing flukish about this fight. I've watched this fight literally, y'all, close to 20 times. I'm just breaking things down. Um, Seems like 2019, man, is the year of the rematches in the heavyweight division, man. You know, guys are going back, trying to run it back and clear up any doubts or any clouds of doubt. Let me see here, man. Let me say what's up to everybody that joined. I'm gonna get back to this in a minute. Uh, Brescian GB says, "How you doing, brother? I'm doing great, man. How about you?" AZ says, "What AJ need to change for the rematch in England?" I'm gonna get to that. AZ. Let me say what's up to everybody. Nelson says, "Yo, yo, what's up, man? Official AJ, what's good, AJ?" 503 Lion says, "Is Eddie Hearn making a mistake with the rematch?" I believe he is. Mark Blake says, "Peace, fam, what's good?" My man, Fanon International Boxing Channel. Fanon the Don, what's good, bro? Y'all go sub to Fanon, man. I'm pretty sure most of you already are. But if you're not, go sub to him. Also sub to my man, 503 Lion, up in the building. Clay Morrow says, there needs there needs a unification match. Hey, and I just seen an article where the IBF, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, that they're not going to interfere. First, I heard that they possibly were going to try to, they want their mandatory exercise and taken care of. But from what I'm hearing, is that they're not going to interfere with this rematch. You know what I mean? Sometimes sanctioning bodies will throw favors to guys who they want to be their champion. And I think a lot of these sanctioning bodies, just from his look, from his, you know, what kind of crowd he can bring in the UK. Kind of like when Klitschko had the titles and how popular he was out there in Germany. They want, don't get it twisted. These sanctioning bodies want you to be popular. You dig what I'm saying? They want a popular champion. You know what I mean? So maybe they're banking on that AJ can win this rematch, but it's a good thing they're not interfering. I'll just put it like that, in my opinion. All right. Let me see. William Redmond was good. He says no choice but to rematch. Yeah. Does it have to be necessarily immediate? No. Could there be a fight in between? Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna have to run it back, but immediately, I'm not sure, man. But hey, he's taking it. He wants it. Shit, let him have it. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, official AJ, you say Taylor versus Pavlik. Yep, that was another one where the rematch, you know what I mean? But hey, Taylor did fight well in that rematch, though. I still thought Pavlik edged it, but I thought Taylor fought well in that rematch. Bakari King was good, brother. Dan the Man Boxing was good, Dan. Y'all go sub to my man Dan the Man Boxing as well. Dion Malone says AJ always trying to fight in the UK. True athletes don't matter long as they can display their skills. Then he just feels comfortable. A lot of these guys, man, just feel comfortable at home. Um, But yeah, man, I think Andy should have a lot to say about where this fight should be held. If I was Andy, I'll push for the fight to be in Cali. I know Andy said Mexico, but even if you fight in Cali, man, just the press will be, to me, better. The press coverage out in LA, and a lot of Mexican fans will come out and support him in Cali, man. You dig what I'm saying? That's why they have a lot of all Mexican fights in Cali. Huge Mexican fan base. huge Mexican population. You know what I mean? So I'll be shooting for Cali at Staples, and I'll definitely be at that fight. Dion Balone, okay, let me see. Nelson, okay, he's saying what's up to Fanon. Mark Wonderlink, what's good, bro? Danny Man Boxing says the rematch is not a good idea. Now we know AJ suffered another concussion after Ruiz fight. Yes, that's another thing, man. If this dude isn't right, man, if this is just strictly Eddie Hearn being a greedy promoter, where hey, let's get in there again, let's fight him again. I really hope he's reevaluating his fighter, man, because the way he was reacting to a lot of these shots, and of course we're hearing a lot of rumors of what Joey Daweko allegedly did to him in sparring. Um, Another rumor was he allegedly was concussed 8 days prior to the fight taking place. Allegedly, his father was going after Eddie Hearn for it. They wanted to. His father allegedly wanted to cancel this bout, or at least not have AJ on the card, which would pretty much lead to cancellation. Um, and if that's the case, man, and if Eddie Hearn is just rushing his kid, man, look, man, I know sometimes as UK and US fans, we kind of go back and forth, uh, going back and forth as far as saying who will win fights and all that, and who's number one and who's number two and who's top five. Look, I don't want to see none of these dudes permanently hurt like this, man. And everybody's prime is different. Just don't look at his age and his physique, and look at history of other fighters who have lost a fight and came back and won rematches. Everybody's not the same. Even when you're young, look at a guy like Fernando Vargas. He always went to war. To me, Fernando Vargas kind of faded out pretty much at a young age. Jermaine Taylor, the same thing. And to me, it's not just, oh, Mr. Boxing, it's just one loss. You're giving up on the one loss. Well, I'm not giving up on him at all, but it's everything leading up into this one loss. I'm not sure about you guys, but I didn't see just squeaky clean performances. Yes, he was winning. They were victories, but it wasn't like flawless. Nothing happened against Pavek and got his nose busted. Takum, I think, Takum was making it difficult at times for him. The Parker fight, after the fight, scored it. I thought it was a tough fight for him. You know what I mean? He's been buzzed and wobbled and dropped before. So it's not like it's just the one loss. It's everything leading up into the one loss, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think there's some things to fine tune there, but we may be seeing the best AJ that we can possibly see. And if this is as good as he can possibly get, there's nothing wrong with that. He was a unified champion, made multiple title defenses, got a gold medal in the Olympics. I know a lot of people thought he lost to Daichko and Savan in the Olympics, but hey, if that's as far as he can get, pretty damn successful career, in my opinion. Made a lot of money, developed a huge fan base in his home country. That's that, and he did it in, as a lot of people like to say, in a short amount of time. That's still good, man. But just the way he was reacting to these punches, man, his stamina to me is it just fades, and sometimes it looks scary how much it fades, especially in a division like the heavyweights, man, where one punch can concuss you and get you out of there, man. And it was just damn near every punch that he was reacting to from Ruiz, man, he was hurt damn near every time he got hit with something just solid. And then the fact that he is a good, AJ does have good power. He is a good front runner. Guys remember kind of like how Zab Judah was, guys who are just great front runners. I think AJ is a very good front runner. But if you can get past that and get inside his chest and pressure him and keep the pressure on him, and couple that with he doesn't really move his head enough, you know what I mean? He might be in a situation where it's, either killed or be killed every fight for him as far as knockouts go. And speaking of pressure, if AJ, now let's just say AJ felt as if there was a lot of pressure going into the first fight. I'm not making no excuses, just trying to get into his mind. Okay, let's just say he feels a lot of pressure. Well, how much pressure do you think is going to be on him in the rematch, especially if it's in the UK? It's going to be a lot more pressure on him to win this fight. Now, maybe that might do him good, but I don't know, man. Official AJ said he might need a new trainer. I don't agree with it, but he might do it. Sometimes, man, I just believe that a trainer can take you as far as he can possibly take you. And like I was just saying, if it means Olympic gold medal, unified title holder, multiple title defenses, that's pretty damn far. You dig what I'm saying? Like sometimes as fans, I don't think we understand how much these trainers sometimes have accomplished with the fighter. Because when these guys started from scratch, and he told AJ, "Hey, you're gonna be a world champ one day, kid." It probably just sounded like some shit, or you know, or when he told him, "Hey, you're gonna make the Olympics," it probably just sounded like a dream. You know what I mean? So to get him, so from a Kraken to get him as far as he has, I still think that's something to applaud. Now I do believe sometimes you may need just a fresh face, just somebody fresh in camp. He probably doesn't have to necessarily get rid of McCracken altogether. Probably keep him in the camp to have familiar face around. Maybe have him second lead, and have somebody else, maybe like a Jonathan Banks. I'm hearing a lot of names get thrown around. You can insert whoever, you know what I mean? Said trainer, just whoever. Insert whoever, but probably still keep McCracken around though, to have that familiar face in camp, but possibly have somebody else as the lead trainer. I can see that. There's nothing wrong with that. Evander Holyfield, one of my favorite fighters of all time. Him, Oscar De La Hoya, man, them dudes were known for switching trainers. Larry Holmes, you know what I mean? So it won't be the first time uh, a fighter has switched trainers. You know what I mean? De La Hoya's do it all the time. Vander would do it all the time. So let me see here. Nell's son, he says, so the rematch is official. According to Eddie Hearn's, I believe it was Twitter or Instagram I seen that message on. But yeah, he's saying that they're exercising the rematch and it's going to take place November, December. And, we're just waiting for the particulars, man. Dion Malone says Ruiz didn't just win, he dominated. Yes, he did. This wasn't, like I said, this wasn't no fluke. It wasn't, a situation where AJ was just beating him from pillar to post and then out of nowhere here came Ruiz in the seventh round. Nah, it was competitive and he started to dominate and take over. He was walking him down with the skill set that he uses in all his fights. This wasn't like a different Andy Ruiz. This was the same Andy Ruiz that I've always seen. Tough, durable, gritty, good hand speed, good fast twitch, reaction type of puncher when he counters. I've always seen this Ruiz. William Redmond says AJ started to remind me of Frank Bruno. Yeah, I've heard my man Blood Boxing bring that up. Blood was talking about that a couple years ago. He said that in his opinion that he thought that AJ was more Frank Bruno than he was Lennox Lewis. So it's not the first time I've heard that. Dago 619 Factor Cali, who actually got this fight right, my man Dago, he was all over social media saying that Ruiz is going to win. He says AJ might pull off some Lennox Lewis. Lennox is another one that switch trainers, but he says AJ might pull off some Lennox Lewis stuff and avenge his loss. But like the first fight, I'm picking Ruiz to win again. Mala2243 says AJ has a lot of work to do if he wants to fight Ruiz in November or December. He got beat down so badly physically and mentally, and stylistically, Ruiz is just bad for him. I agree. P Money says, what's good, Mr. Boxing? What's good, P Money? La D says, because talking to Dago, what's good, La D? See you guys going back and forth. A1 says Ruiz smashes AJ up, bro. Was a beat down. Respect from London, G. Appreciate that. My man Haplotype Zero says they're making a mistake, going to ruin any chance of him ruling the division in the future. Bad move. Loke Dog, what's good, bro? He said, what's up, everybody? Y'all be easy. Gabe says, I think Joshua wins this time if he can use his jab and reach. Use his jab and reach. He was doing a good job, but I think Joshua, he wants to mix it up so bad that he'll go in there sometimes and Joshua will uh air it out with you, man. Like Joshua wants to hurt you and knock you out. But I think, and I've been watching this fight again, I think it was a right hand in the second round. Damn, I think it was a right hand that Ruiz threw in the second round. And the zone commentators, the guys commentating the fight, Mora and that was dude named Brian Kenny. They didn't even say nothing about this right hand that landed on AJ. If you guys watch the second round again, and I think at that point is when AJ respected Ruiz's power. So he, but I thought AJ would, use his reach, pump that jab from the outside, and let Ruiz walk his way into shots. But Ruiz was not cooperating with that, man. He's not the type of guy that's going to hang his chin over his left foot and say, here, hit me with uppercuts. And Ruiz wasn't giving him that real estate of, okay, I'm just going to fight you from that mid range. No, he got up in his chest and then made AJ throw shots. And the closer Ruiz is, the better he is, the better chance he'll have of landing his shots. Because what does Ruiz do? What set up that left hook? If you guys watch that left hook that Ruiz caught AJ with on his tempo, Ruiz ducked under a shot. Muscle memory of ducking under shots, working the mitts, working the bags, ducking under shots, and coming up with your left hook. It was like he was working the mitts, man. That shot came over the top. He came right back up. Boom, hit him with a left hook, hurt him. Little subtle slips here and there because AJ was mixing it up on him. Once Ruiz got up from that knockdown, I'm watching the fight again. This is the seventh. They're stopping it. Man, it's like every time he hit AJ, man, he was just like, and AJ goes down hard. That's one thing about AJ's knock. When he gets knocked down, he goes down pretty damn hard with his knockdowns, man. I mean, you get knocked down, you get knocked down, but he be going down like he goes down very hard. Hey man, do y'all think he should do more just training, just working on his fluidity, man? I've always been a like I'm old school to the heart, man. Like I have an old soul, so I believe in a lot of old school things. Some of you may disagree. I know people like to say technology's better, and which it is, but I don't think some things, if you know, like they say, if it ain't broke, don't you don't have to fix it, man. But I understand different methods and different sciences and different techniques of training. I totally understand it. But I've never been just a huge fan of all these machines and gadgets and electronics. And look, man, when it comes to boxing, especially shadow boxing, sparring, and bag work, calisthenics, light weightlifting with high reps, very light weightlifting, probably once or twice a week to keep that strength, and eating right, and some road work. And if you want to replace road work for riding the bike or swimming, something like that. But I've never been in all, and I know AJ does that, and a lot of fighters as well, not just AJ. So I'm not just uh, putting throwing him under the bus, but I've just never been a fan of all that, man. I think he needs to work on more just, moving his head, just moving around. And I've seen him work on those things when he had the tennis ball, throwing the tennis ball against the wall, or he had this little these lights set up in front of him and he was reacting to each light. And maybe those things scientifically do improve you to some small percent as far as your reaction time. But to me, there's no better simulation than just realistic movements of shadow boxing, sparring. I don't know, man. I think he just needs to do more of that, man. Now the weightlifting and what he has done has got him this far. So who am I to, it has got him this far, but maybe that's as far as it'll get him. And then maybe, maybe there needs to be a new level to his training now. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe, hey man, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube talking shit. Let me see. Killer West says, I think AJ will be fine, but he can't leave his head open, get hit, use the footwork and jab, then chop with those combinations. Okay. Um, Bresciano GB says, one of my mates lost 1,000 on Joshua. There were scenes. There were scenes around my place at 6:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Uh, Lala D says, call me crazy, but I got AJ this time. Owen Perry says Tyson Fury got robbed. Uh, Official AJ says WBO isn't going to interfere. I don't think the IBF isn't either. Y'all just seen the article, AJ, where they said they're not going to interfere with this. So that's great. That's great news. So I'm glad they're not trying to force Pulev on us. Um, so I think it's good they're not going to interfere with this, man. Bresciano GB, he says, where's the IBF article, Mr. Box? If you go on Boxing Scene, and it's the article about, I think it's the article with Eddie Hearn talking about them exercising the rematch clause, and I think it's within that article. I could be wrong, but it's one of the fresher
You're right.
articles.
You're right.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's in that article with Hearn talking. Andre Gardner says AJ in 8 rounds. Hashtag AJ boxing. My man Blood Boxing Live. Y'all go subscribe to my man Blood Boxing, man. He says, my brother was good, Blood. I heard your video on it, Blood. I know, Blood, you say he need like 2 years off, bro. I think that's, when I was listening to you, I'm like, man, that's a long time, some years. I was thinking more like a good year based on how he was just reacting to getting hit. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Like I was paying attention to that, and everybody's prime is different. So I know some of you are gonna say he only has this many fights and he's this young. I'm telling you, man, everybody's shelf life is different. And it looked like his punch resistance was kind of shot in that fight. Now, maybe it was that first left hook that concussed him, and then therefore, throughout that fight, he was just totally fucked up. Or maybe it was or maybe that was on one accord with him allegedly, because I don't know for sure, coming into the fight, I guess with a concussion days prior. But to me, wouldn't the athletic commission have to step in if they were to hear about something like this, or if that were to happen, or if this did happen, did Team AJ keep it under wraps? A lot of questions still need to be answered. The one thing about his father, man, if he did allegedly go after Eddie Hearn, that's his dad, man, and your father's always going to care about your well-being more than some fucking money-hungry promoter. All right, y'all. That's just real talk, man. Some of you guys out there are fathers. I got two sons that play sports and lift weights, and I work out with them every day. We do mitts together. I'm gonna start putting our footage of our mitt work up too, but just got them into sports, and I'm training with them every day, man. One is 8 and the other one's 11 years old. So it was just like last week here, not to interject myself into it, but I'm just giving you guys an example. Last week here, the football coach didn't show up for my youngest son team. I stepped up and just coached the team. We had half our team there, you know what I mean? No plays, no nothing. But what I'm saying is when your father is overlooking their son, man, they care about their son's well-being more than any fucking coach or any promoter, especially somebody that's trying to make money and profit off your son. So his dad, to me, some people may say, oh, if it did happen, he probably overreacted because his son lost. I think there's more than just his son lost. That's just me though. But I guess I would really love to hear from his father, man, just to hear what he has to say coming from another father. I just want to hear what he has to say about this situation. Some people think that fathers can be too overprotective of their sons in their corners, although his dad didn't work his corner, but just when your parents are involved. You guys remember Chris Bird? His whole fucking family was in his corner. He used to spar his family. Y'all remember that? So there's a lot of father son tandems, but his father doesn't train him, but he's still there. And his father seems like the type that go to war for his son, man. So I applaud that. You know what I mean? I'm one of the ones that applaud things like that, man. So I really want to hear from his father and what's his alleged gripe. I would just like to hear from him. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Mala 2243 says stylistically, it is terrible. It is terrible. Ruiz has faster hands, superior stamina, and he has a superior chin. He is able to take AJ's punches. AJ can't take his punches, so he will always be at high risk of losing. I agree. Before this fight, after this fight, I thought Andy Ruiz had the fastest hands in the division between him and Joseph Parker. That's just what I see with the eye test watching all these guys fight, comparing them to other guys. Now, there are some guys that have quick 1-2s, like a quick out of this world 1-2, like a Deontay Wilder, or a quick left hook that they're always in position and ready to throw, like a Dillian White. But as far as just letting punches go, throwing fives and sixes and sevens, meaning combinations, I'm putting Andy Ruiz right there. Always thought that about him. Bad physique and all. You know what I mean? Snicker bars and all. And I don't see Anthony Joshua, no matter who trains him, having just all of a sudden faster hands. If anything, his timing, and sometimes, look, man, I know that AJ excels at fighting mid range and kind of close with guys because usually he's the faster puncher when he's inside with guys or mid range with guys. Okay, if it's not working this time, you got to go to a plan B. If you got to hold and clinch them and wrap them up, there's nothing wrong with that. It may not be exciting. Nothing wrong with that. Lennox used to do it. Vladimir used to do it. Vitaly used to do the shit. Emmanuel would teach his big guys that. Hey, man, why even mix it up on the inside? Wrap his ass up. Yeah, the crowd might boo, but we're trying to get a win. We'll look good next time. You know what I mean? But today we're trying to win. Lennox Lewis didn't worry about looking great against David Tua. He was looking to win. You know what I mean? When he fought Mike Tyson, although, we go, back and forth about that version of Mike Tyson. Some people say, hey, they were both out of their prime. That's a different story. But when he fought him, he tied up Mike Tyson's left arm the same way Holyfield did. I'm not going to fight you on the inside. If I do, I'll fight you when I'm ready to fight you. and then I'm gonna clinch you, vice grip style, a la vice grip. So maybe he has to add little wrinkles, man, if he wants to be able to beat Ruiz. I don't think the same game plan, high guard, don't move my head, and I'm going to try to land my big uppercut and fight you from mid range. I just it has to be another game plan, and that's usually his bread and butter. And yes, he can use his jab, and you know he was jabbing Takam to the stomach and Povetkin. He was setting those guys up. They were hesitant to pressure him. Ruiz isn't going to be hesitant, and he's going to pressure you while he's moving your head and picking off your punches by parrying with his high guard. That's always going to be a tough style matchup. Blood Boxing Live says the king of heavyweight boxing talk. Indeed, man. Been doing it for 10 years strong here on YouTube, man. So I appreciate that, brother. P Money says I got Ruiz winning the rematch. There is no way I can see AJ changing anything by November, December. He has a puncher's chance, in my opinion. Does AJ. Uh Andre Gardner says AJ is going to murder Ruiz. Hmm. The Beyonder says, for a laugh, read the article about Frank Warren warning Fury about taking Schwartz lightly. It's the attack. If the underdog, they're coming for the top dogs. I'm gonna try to check that one out, man. Illis92 says, salute to the chat, Mr. Box today. Was good? Was goody, man? Official AJ says, LA fight would be huge. Yes, it would. He'll get a lot of support, man. And I'm going to that one. Our plans, because I'm going to, man, I wish a fight was happening the beginning of August, man, because I'll be in Cali for 2 weeks, the beginning and up until the middle of August. But I'm gonna go right back out there later on that year, man. If Wilder Fury happens to happen out there, or AJ versus Ruiz, I would like to see AJ fight in person. When AJ and Klitschko was being announced, you guys remember the rematch, right? They're talking about the rematch will possibly be in Vegas. You guys remember when that was thrown out there? I was going to go to that, and I want to get a chance to see all these guys fight in person, man. So, um, shit, we can go to both. We'll go to both. If I go to both, I'll go to both of them, man. But I definitely want to see AJ in person, and I would definitely love to see this because it's gonna be a make or break, man. And I know if he were to lose, oh, it's only his second loss, give him a break. Some of my favorite fighters have multiple losses. Larry Holmes, Ali, Foreman. I totally understand that, but everybody is different, man. It's different circumstances, unique situations for different fighters. And I'm almost thinking, man, if Ruiz were to lose, let's say it was a good, entertaining fight, and he loses by knockout. Let's say AJ does get the job done, and I think it deserves a trilogy because that first fight wasn't some fluke, man. It wasn't a fluke. And another situation. What do y'all think about this, real quick? And I know it's kind of if and it didn't happen, but Mike Tyson, right? He never got the rematch, Buster Douglas. People say it wasn't Mike, right? Mike got knocked down in sparring. Was it Greg Page that knocked him down? But before the Douglas fight, during his training camp, he was out there in Tokyo smashing broads and eating whatever he wanted to, staying up late, all late hours. That has nothing to do with Buster Douglas. He went in there and put the flu flops on Mike Tyson, right? Even if even if he were to rematch him, and Mike Tyson fought tough against Razor Ruddock, you know what I mean? He looked, he destroyed Alex Stewart. This after he lost to Buster Douglas. I still think if Douglas would have, that Douglas has showed up against Tyson, meaning the courage, the heart, his weight was on point, and he's still fluid and moving around and popping that jab and tying Mike up on the inside. And that's still a style that is the kryptonite for Mike Tyson. So I would have loved to seen that rematch, especially if it was the same Buster Douglas, that same mind frame, just the way he was fighting the fight. I know his motivations were different because his mom passed away, but just if he could have carried that into a rematch and Mike came at his quote unquote best, I still think based on styles, it'd be a hell of a fight. Because you guys remember that Larry Holmes fight with Mike and Buster was kind of doing some of the things Larry was doing. You guys remember, I think it was like the second or third round when Holmes was moving around. It almost looked like the old Eastern Assassin out there. You know what I mean? Even like when Tyrell Biggs was fighting Mike and he was moving and pumping the jab, and that style is just all wrong for a guy like Mike. You know what I mean? But Michael's able to overcome and beat guys like Biggs and so on and so forth. But to me, I think that so I would have loved to seen a rematch. And this is a situation where I think just the style is all wrong for him, in my opinion. Owen Perry says, "Give Dillian the fight. He's better at fighting short guys." Illis92 says, "These rumors just make AJ look worse." Shaking my head. How you the baddest man on the planet getting beat up in sparring? Killer West says, "Out west in LA would be good." Mala2243 says, "If he was feeling the effects of the concussion 8 days earlier, as soon as he was hit, he would get a secondary concussion and he would never be able to recover from that at any stage of the fight." I agree. Uh, Official AJ says he was getting tagged versus Povetkin. Yes, he was. Blood Boxing Live says Floyd Patterson did. Let me see here. Official agent says Parker gave him all kinds of trouble. I thought he did too. Loke Dog says, "I'm not from the UK, but I wish the best for Joshua health. First, I hope he good their life after boxing." Me too, man. Like, I in no way, shape, or form, man, do I want to see any of these guys suffering from long-term effects or anything like that, or not being able to enjoy life the way they should be with their family. It's not that serious, man. It's really not. And I'm a huge hardcore boxing fan for 30 plus years, but it's not that serious. Matthew French says, "I'm a fan of AJ and respect him for what he has done so far. I think it's going to be a great fight. The rematch, can't wait to see it. This will make the air great." If they can, it could be another entertaining fight. Either way, man, is all eyes will be on that fight to see if it'll be a repeat or redemption. LJ Craver says, AJ has already achieved great things in a short time. If he wins the rematch easily, he becomes a two-time unified champion. Then this is just a hiccup. Possibly. That's how you get two-time, three-time, four-time world champions. Shit, you fall down, you get back up. You dust yourself off, you get back up. Let me see here. Dan the Man says Hearn is potentially making a terrible mistake with AJ taking immediate rematch like he did with having Kell Brook fight back-to-back dangerous fights. Yes, put Kell Brook in there with Golovkin and threw him in there with Errol Spence. Everybody's different, man. I know some people say, well, such and such, Ali, and not, yeah, everybody's not Ali. You know what I mean? Everybody's not Ali, man. Everybody's not Lennox Lewis. That's why they are who they are. You dig? Owen Perry says, "Yeah, but at least White would give it back." Okay, see you guys talking to each other. Lala D says, "Mr. Boxing today, can you give us a flower? Can you give us a flower or your favorite boxer to look at or something like that?" Laugh out loud. My favorite boxer to look at. Well, my favorite boxers to watch are my three favorite of all time, which I've said this many times: Ali, Holmes, and Foreman. But I'm not sure. Let me see. And just for the record, some of my non-heavyweight guys who I love watching, man. Tommy Hearns, Roy Jones Jr. I know James Toney was at heavyweight, but his earlier fights, pre-heavyweight, um, Hitman's probably my favorite non-heavyweight of all time. Andre Gardner says, "Damn, why everyone acting like AJ didn't drop Ruiz first? Had AJ taken his time after that knockdown, he would have knocked Ruiz out." Are you sure about that, bro? What? Okay, cool, Andre, but what gives you that impression that he would have knocked him out? I'm just curious about that, bro. Because, but yes, he did drop him. He did, and that's the thing. AJ did drop him, and I thought he hurt him. Somebody was on my last video. They felt as if it was a flash knockdown. I forgot who that was, but somebody on my last post said they thought it was a flash knockdown. Um, it was enough to where it made Ruiz, it dropped him on his ass to where he kind of looked up like, whoa, how the hell did I get here? And I mean, his head got wobbled, you know what I mean? His head, got snapped back and he hit the mat. Shit, whenever you are not on your. See, I don't believe in the flash knockdown shit, man. I just believe that uh, you're not hurt as bad as somebody that's getting counted out, obviously, but you get put on your ass, man. You got put on your ass for a reason. You know what I mean? Whether you didn't see it coming or whatever it is. Um, but to me, what gives you the impression that if he would have taken his time, he would have got knocked out? Let's say if he would have taken his time, you're still giving Ruiz more time to recover, and Ruiz shown that he has a great chin. And to tell you the truth, bro, when Ruiz got back up, he got hit with another huge right hand that would have probably put most guys down. So it wasn't like Joshua went out there when he got up, he went crazy trying to finish him. He wasn't landing nothing solid. No, he landed another solid. I think he landed a few more solid ones, but it was another big right hand I remember immediately that landed when Ruiz got up. And he took it. There are some guys that just respond to other people's power differently. You know what I mean? It's like a guy like Galata. You've seen him get stopped before against Brewster, against Michael Grant, against Lennox Lewis, but he was able to react to Riddick Bowe's power differently than the way Evander Holyfield reacted to the power. Although we look at Evander as having a better all-time chin than Galata. You know what I mean? Or how Holyfield was able, the way he responded to Mike's power, totally different than the way he responded to Bowe's power. It's just, that's all I love to say. Styles make fights, man. Some fighters react to some people's power way differently than they do to a guy who's perceived to have more power. That's what I love about this sport, man. That's why I love this sport so much. Because Andrew Ruiz looked like fucking Joe Frazier in there when he was hitting AJ, man. I ain't know what it was. I'm like, damn. I knew Ruiz is a, he gets a lot of snap and leverage on his shots, and Ruiz puts all whatever how much he weighs into his shots, and he gets good snap, good leverage, turns his hip. You know what I mean? Now on paper, you may look at it like, shit, Dillian White hits harder than him. Why couldn't Dillian White? I know Dillian White dropped him, but why couldn't Dillian White get him out of there when the punches he was landing on AJ? Or why couldn't Klitschko drop him more times? And Klitschko's landing some very good shots. That's why like triangle theories and things like that do not work in boxing. That's what I love about this damn sport so much, man. Um, Let me see here. Lauren Simpson says, "Hey, Mr. Boxer today. I still think Chris Ariola says Mission Boxing today on your promo." Yeah, y'all be getting on Chris, man. Saying that he says Mission Boxing, but he does say Mr. Boxing today. Speaking of Chris, man, he's gonna be in an entertaining scrap coming up with Adam Konowski. That's gonna be a bloodbath out in August. I know they're still working on the date. They're talking about in August, Ariola versus Konowski. I know some people will say that Ariola's at the twilight of his career, given his last run, his last hurrah. But Adam Konowski gives you opportunity to land, and that's one thing. If you give Chris, he will have a chance. Somebody's going to come forward that he's not going to have to go looking for, or they're not going to, keep a stiff jab in his face and trying to keep him on the outside and pot shot him. Somebody's going to come just right to him that shows minimum head movement. That's like, it's a perfect opportunity. Perfect opportunity. But Konowski's been in some, even when he wins, he that dude's in wars. He's always bleeding. Always, even when he wins his fights, man. I think, did he bleed against Spilka? I know he bled against Keladze, and Keladze was landing some good shots on him. Martin was tagging him up. Konowski wins these fights, man, but he gives you opportunities. He's one of those guys that'll take 10 to land one. And Ariola does have some heavy hands, so we will see how that play out. LDBC Facts says, highest pressure rematch I ever seen. It's going to be a lot of pressure, man. He also says Ruiz sense blood when AJ slows down, risky rematch. And if he shows any signs of fatigue or gassing or breathing hard or his mouth is open, Ruiz is going to jump right up on him. And maybe Joshua can catch Ruiz trying to be bloodthirsty and trying to come in and finish him. Maybe he can catch him like that. But Ruiz shown that he can get up off his ass and stop him, man. mentally that can do a lot to a fighter, man. I mean, we will see. These questions will be answered, man. But I'm just looking at the dynamics of this fight, and he got up off his ass and finished him, man, and knocked him down 2 times in that round, and then 2 more times after that. And had that shit would have continued, and to tell you the truth, man, in my opinion, also what you got to couple into this is Joshua. When I look at this, he quit. Now it's just different dynamics, man. I've seen Manny Pacquiao research his career after being knocked face first against Marquez. All right, but everybody's not Pacquiao. But we will see if this is in AJ. But he quit too, though, man. He spit his mouthpiece out. He was looking at his mouthpiece. He know he spit it out. He got up, walked to the corner, put his arms on the ropes. The ref is giving him instructions to come to me, not have a conversation with me, not keep your arms on the ropes. You don't necessarily have to say I quit or I don't want no more. Body language too, y'all. Body language. You know what I mean? That's like telling one of your kids, hey, clean your room. You tell them to clean their room. It's 6 o'clock p.m. when you tell them to clean their room. 6:07 rolls around, they don't have their room clean. 6:30 rolls around, don't have their room clean. Whether they're distracted or not, they don't have to say, "Oh, I don't want to clean it." They're showing you they don't want to clean the room by not doing it. Now that was just an example, but he was showing to me, he was showing signs. His body language shows that he didn't want no more. That's what it showed to me. Coupled with his brain was probably scrambled too from getting hit upside the head. A lot went on, man. This just, but this is just me, man. Maybe, I'm being too technical, but this is just me. This is the way I see it. Ron Burgundy, he says, well, actually, hold on, let me see. Eric Swayze says, actually, Jonathan Banks would be good in his corner. AJ needs to learn how to do some good old Vlad Klitschko clinching. Let me see here. Double A Boxing and Blunt says, Eddie gonna phone Wembley, try to book it again. They will want a massive deposit now. Ron Burgundy says, mad pressure on lying Eddie. He still has to produce for the zone, but fight will get more eyeballs on Showtime. I think it will. Especially, here in the States. LDBC Fact says Kovalev beat War. Okay, he's talking to somebody. Let me see. He's talking to somebody else. Oh, he just said that Kovalev, Kovalev, did he beat Ward in a rematch? GGB Canelo in a rematch. Tavern beat Wilder second time around? Question mark. Yep, all those guys lost. Matthew French says, do you think AJ can or will improve for the rematch? I think there's a possibility to improve, but I also think there's a high possibility that he is who he is. Shaky stamina probably is going to always be a part of who he is. Dude he looks like a damn bodybuilder, man. And again, it's got him this far. I just think it could be a possibility to where he is who he is. And it was just like when Virgil Hill, or I'm sorry, not Virgil Hill, the former world champion, but when Virgil Hunter, sorry, not Quicksilver, but Virgil Hunter, when he took Dominic Brazil. I know it's different fighters, but I'm just saying, you're not going to change a fighter, man. You can just kind of polish the things that he's already good at and try to just add some wrinkles. I just think he needs to get with somebody that's going to help him move his head and tie up on the inside. But AJ's fighting instincts take over even when he's exhausted. That's one thing I do admire about him. His fighting, he will just swing. He will swing back and try to fight you off and fend you off. I will give him that. But sometimes in a situation, I think he needs to clinch. One of the guys who I used to love watch growing up was Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns would do that shit sometimes too. When he would get hurt and buckled, his first reaction was to fight back. Fight back. That's that fighting heart, you know what I mean? But sometimes you need to fight smart and tie up. Let the ref break you, get back to the jab. But Andy is real slippery when you're trying to tie him up too. He has that leverage where he can get under Anthony Joshua's chest, and it'll probably be harder for him to tie him up. Klitschko was good because Klitschko would lean his body over the top of smaller guys. Lennox was good at that shit too, where he'll say a guy's bending down. Lennox would have his chest on their back as he's bending down over them. You did what I'm saying? He did that shit to Mike Tyson a lot in that fight. He has to do that type of stuff, not just he was trying to stand straight up. Therefore, standing straight up, legs straight, and Andy was able to get the leverage. He was under him. I just think he caught AJ off guard. AJ wasn't prepared for that, man. I think he was prepared to. I think mentally came in thinking, I'm the stronger guy. By looking at the physiques, you would, I'm pretty sure if they got in the weight room, AJ would lift circles, squares, and triangles around Andy Ruiz. But it's a different type of strong. Andy Ruiz is boxing strong. It's different types of strong, as my grandma used to say. Let me see here. The Beyonder says, "Do you think AJ fights more like a short guy minus the head movement?" Yeah, I think he's a mid-range fighter. I think he. So yeah, because usually guys with shorter guys who aren't necessarily that big wants to fight at um, medium. But shit, Riddick Bowe would do that too, though. Where he will fight on the inside. I just think that's where he feels most comfortable, and to me, that's where he's most fluid at is mid-range. I don't think he's as fluid when he's trying to fight off the back foot. Although some of that back foot stuff was working in spots in his fights with Povetkin and Takam and Parker and things like that, I still think he's at his most comfortable when he's mid-range. But just because that's where you're most comfortable at, doesn't mean it's going to always work against every opponent. So if that's your bread and butter, plan A, B, C, and D, with an occasional fight on the back foot and try to pot shot and hope that you can keep the guy on the outside of your jab and he respects you enough not to walk you down or walk in or get aggressive on you, it's going to be a tough situation. Ronaldo Toll was good, man. LDBC Fact says, is AJ physically more ripe for a loss now? 4 knockdowns and more mileage. Yeah, especially against an opponent that did all that to you. And that's one more thing. I hope Andy, because after the fight, I did hear him say, "Hey, mom, we're not going to struggle no more." Just pretty much saying, "Hey, man, not that I think Andy Ruiz is struggling. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he's making some type of coin going into that fight, but obviously, this is going to get him a huge payday for the rematch. I hope he just isn't in the mindset of like, whew, man, we won the lottery. Let's cash this ticket. Fuck it. I'm about to just, I could retire. Kind of like what Marcos Maidana did. And I know Marcos Maidana, after the Mayweather fights, did try to make a comeback. I did see him training. Then I think he quit his training. But some guys, they know how to save their money. That a few million or however many millions he make, whether it's 10, 5, or 7, whatever it is, some guys can take that and make that shit either turn it into 50, 60 million, or they can keep what they have and they know how to save and invest and do things like that. Andy may, I just hope his mind isn't on like, I did it, and he just kind of comes into this kind of lackadaisical. You dig what I'm saying? But I don't think his mindset is like that because he's been such an underdog his whole life. Uh, and he's still young and he still has some good fights in him and it doesn't look like any wear and tear is on him. You know what I mean? And I think he may look at this like, man, shit, I'm just getting started now. Like this is what I've been dreaming for is these type of fights. That's why I left Top Rank and signed with Al Heyman to get in these type of positions. I'm curious of how Andy Ruiz mindset will be as well, not just Anthony Joshua. Will it be a Buster Douglas effect where Douglas was, you guys heard the stories, ordering fucking Domino's pizza literally in training camp at the gym, getting Domino's pizza delivered to the camp, not taking it serious. He cashed that, however much he got against. I think he made like 20 something million to fight Holyfield. You know what I mean? Again, it goes both ways with the mental makeup. How is Andrew Ruiz going to be as well? I want to see that. I am far behind. Yo, I know I can get long-winded with questions, y'all, so please excuse me, man. But let me try to go from the bottom and go to the top. Make sure. See what y'all talking about, man. I'm very long-winded with when I answer questions because we family, man. You know what I mean? I talk to y'all like I would talk to somebody at the water cooler, man, or I'll talk to somebody at the gym. Like, hey, did y'all see the fight on Saturday? This how I like to chop it up with y'all, man. We family up in here. Boxing family. You guys know how it is, man. Hey, ain't it weird, y'all, when you meet somebody else who's a boxing fan, especially here in the States, it may be different in different countries, but here in the States, man, when you meet somebody that's a boxing fan, it's like you ran into a long lost cousin or some shit, ain't it? You could barely know that person and y'all talk for 20, 30 minutes, especially if it's a well educated fan that's been a fan of the sport for a decade plus, a few decades, 30, 40 years. It's like meeting a long lost relative or something, man. You know what I mean? That's happened to me a few times just this year. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it could be somebody from a different walk of life. Something you would look at that guy and just from the, judging a book by its cover, you would think you and that person have nothing in common. And a conversation can spark from, hey, did you see the fight on Saturday? And you guys will talk for an hour. That's happened to me numerous of times, y'all. Numerous of times. I remember, quick story, I worked with a guy, right? We were managing we were managing at this company and working with each other every day for months, months. And then we're talking about the UFC, and then I said, "Yeah, I'm more of a boxing fan." Man, we became dinner like best friends. We were coming to work talking about boxing the whole time. And he kind of looked at me like, "You're a boxing fan?" And he was a Mexican, and he started talking about growing up watching Marquez and Barrera, Morales, and all that, and good times, man. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. So talking about the fights with Gonzalez versus uh, who did Humberto Gonzalez fight in those fights? The kid from Phoenix, man, that used to be on all the Tuesday night fights. The dude from Little Hands of Stones. Man, somebody correct me in the comment section, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Little Hands of Stones. He fought Humberto Gonzalez. Oh fuck, it's gonna kill me, man. Carbajal, Michael Carbajal. Thanks, I appreciate it. But yeah, we started talking about stuff like that, man. Okay, everybody. See, I love family. You see how y'all know who Michael Carbajal? I love that. I love when I can say Little Hands of Stone, and there's fans out there that know who I'm talking about. I love that, man. TopHeavyweight.com, Marvin Gardens, John, you're Syrian. I love that, man. Clive Boyd says, "Yeah, I've been watching boxing since 1985. That's around the time I started watching it too, man. So, long time fan." Mr. Box, okay, I'm kind of skipping around now, y'all, because I was long-winded on those other questions, so I'm kind of skip around here. Mr. Boxing Moves, what's up, bruh? He says, come on, bro. Buster Douglas and Ruiz are not cut from the same cloth. Ruiz has always been a consistent pressure fighter. Douglas was not a consistent anything. Um, yeah, bro. I'm just talking about mindset. I'm talking about what I'm talking about, Mr. Boxing Moves, is just mindset of knowing that you cashed out and won the lottery. I'm talking about it from that standpoint. Yes, I think Ruiz throughout his career, because there was time Douglas would just show up and just dog it, man. Like the fight against Tony Tucker, he just dogged it. You know what I mean? Um, so you never know what you're gonna get with Buster in his fights, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm just talking about the mindset of knowing that you won the lottery. I'm just talking about that. And I think deep down, I think that Ruiz is cut from the cloth of I'm the underdog. Now I want to, be a proud champion. I just don't want to be some fly by night one hit wonder. I do think he has that mindset, but Mr. Boxing Moves, you never know once that damn cash is checked and that bank account is sitting lovely and there's millions upon millions in that motherfucker. You don't know what a guy may do. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to see how it plays out. I just want to see his preparation for the fight, leading up to the fight. And if I'm seeing the right things, then hey, I'm gonna come on video and say, hey man, I've been watching Andy Ruiz, that motherfucker ready. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm talking about. But yeah, two totally different fighters. Uh Looking at it right now, if we were to pause Andy Ruiz's career right now, yes, his mindset and Douglas' mindset, especially after he beat Tyson, different. I totally agree. But I still want to see how it plays out. But two totally different fighters. Yeah, definitely two totally different fighters. Different styles, everything. So that's what I meant by that. Let me see. Ronald Finkley, what's good, bro? He says no garbage touches for Ruiz. He got the Infinity Stones. And just back in the day, man, because some promoters would take this opportunity and be like, "No, we about to get a few." Don King was good at this shit. Well, a lot of promoters would do this, but when a guy win the belt, they'll have that guy go fight two, three type of tune-ups to get some fights at home or in his home country, things like that. A fight that I was thinking about, if I were to go that route, and if I was that type of person that thought like that, shit, Ruiz versus Areola in Southern California. You know what I mean? Have Areola not take the fight against Karnowski. Probably have him take another little tune-up, warm-up to look great, like he has a victory over JP Augustine his last fight. Take another little fight like that or something. Make him look dynamite, knock a guy out in 1 or 2 rounds. Have Ruiz versus Areola, all Mexican fight in Southern Cali. You know what I mean? But since I'm not a promoter and I'm not trying to be sneaky and conniving like that, I want to see the best fighting the best, man. If this rematch, it's the year of the rematches anyways. So this rematch is going right in line with everything else. You know what I mean? As far as at the top, you see Wilder has 2 fights scheduled for Ortiz and Fury rematches, and AJ and Ruiz is about to get it on. You know what I mean? So let me see here. Uh, X Ace X Ace 99X says Douglas versus Holyfield wasn't a fight. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that was some bullshit, man. He could have got up. It looked as if Douglas could have got up because he looked up when he hit that canvas. He was looking up. Then he kind of just let his head go back down and kind of just was counting sheep and shit and stars and moons and triangles. So, but yeah, Holyfield caught him with a good counter right. It was the right hand. It was the right hand that dropped him. Um, Came in way out of shape, but hey, the real deal ain't got nothing to do with that, man. That was Douglas' fault for coming in like that. But he fought beautifully against Mike in that fight, man. Beautifully. Regardless of if you think whatever it was with Mike, just the style that he presented that night was beautiful, and the heart that he showed was just beautiful that night. Mr. Boxing Move says AJ never threw shots off the back foot. He only moved out of range off the back foot. Yeah, and he would just paw with that jab because he started doing that against Povetkin, and it was more just to get out of range. Getting out of range, but his head is still in the same area. And then and it was something I noticed when he said when he fought Povetkin, and I noticed it in the fight, so it was funny to hear him talk about it, to where when he widened his stance to get shorter, to get to Povetkin's height. It worked in that fight. But I was thinking to myself was like, some guys, when they widen their stance, it's even harder for them to move. I thought he just widened his stance so he can, in which he said, to land his punches more efficiently and more accurately. So he widened his stance so he get down to this height, because he said at first he was punching down. But I was also thinking to myself, like, man, Povetkin could have took advantage of that because he widened his stance and he was very flat-footed. And he's still a big man. 6'6", 245 pounds is still a big body to be lugging around the ring. That's why I'm so impressed the way that Tyson Fury can move, man. You know what I'm saying? But Fury, I think you gotta go to his body. People go to his head and try to headhunt him, and I think that's what get people in trouble. But hey, I'm just a dude on YouTube talking shit. What do I know? You know what I mean? But I think your waist, your belt line, your belly, things like that is very hard to get out of the way. It's much easier to move your head. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys headhunt, so they play right into the hands of Tyson Fury. He wants you to headhunt. Very good reflexes. Joshua's not that type of fighter. He's more of a parry, catch with the high guard type of guy, which means there's opportunities to land around his guard, through his guard, under his guard. Clive Boyce says Lennox Lewis taught Wilder how to jab, and he is very good at it, but he didn't use his jab against Fury for some reason. He was just throwing haymakers. I remember that video, Clive, when Wilder and Lennox was in a parking lot. I think they were. I think they were in a parking lot where he was showing them um, his version of the jab. So I do remember that footage. Yeah, Wilder was headhunting. Started the headhunt, but when he did connect on the head, he put him down. You know what I mean? But to me, I think Wilder should be aiming. And to me, look, if that right hand is hard enough to hit somebody on the chin and make them do crazy things and make them fall asleep and things like that, to me, man, I think that a straight right hand is very effective if Wilder lands it square in the chest or square in the pit of their stomach. I think he should set that right hand up for the body as well, not just the jaw and off the top of the head. And I think the body area as well. And Wilder sometimes can sneak in. He did it against Ortiz, where he sneaks in this little sneaky, looping, kind of underhanded hook to the body, kind of a la Vitaly Klitschko, the way he would throw his awkward. I wish I can show you guys, but like he'll kind of stand straight up and he'll kind of underhand the uppercut to the body, but it was effective. He would just punch from weird angles. I think Vitaly is a great guy to watch for some of these 6'7", 6'6" guys. I think he's a great fighter to watch, along with the Riddick Bowe's and Lennox Lewis. Bowe was a great inside fighter, but if you're the type of guy that wants to stay on the outside and peck away with the jab, and you want to fight with the hands down, guys like Larry Holmes, Ali, but I think Vitaly Klitschko is a good guy to watch as well. The Perfectionist says AJ is going to get Hoyt in my Mick voice. Somebody says Wilder is a bum. Okay. That holds no validity, but if that's what you my wife's over here laughing at that shit, but yeah, okay. Let me see here. All right, bro. I see you trolling out, man. So I'm just gonna ignore your comments, bro. Now I see some little trolling going on, but it is what it is, though. Can't expect everybody to be on just boxing talk. Gotta have some trolls in the building. Mr. Boxing Move says I called for the upset 3 weeks ago because I know AJ doesn't have a back foot game and easy to counter and stamina issues, and Ruiz is a pressure fighter. Yep, there were a few of you guys, Mr. Boxing Moves, that said that Ruiz was gonna pull this upset, and we're giving actual style breakdowns of how you guys thought he was gonna win the fight. So I definitely appreciate um, those type of conversations, man, because it's easy to say, "Oh, he's gonna knock him out." Well, how? I don't know. I just don't like him. That's not a style breakdown. You know what I mean? But props to you guys actually had legit style breakdowns, man. Peter Parker. Okay, I don't know if you guys are sending me a question, make sure you're sending it to me. But Peter Parker, I'm not sure if you're talking to somebody else, but he says that's what it showed to you. Have you ever been knocked out? I'm not sure if you're talking to me or not. But what I will say is this, just to interject, if I may. I've never been knocked out, but I've got my nose busted. I've came home with a swollen jaw, couldn't eat for like 2 weeks. Um, so I know how it feels to get punched in the mouth. I know how it feels to punch another person in their mouth too in the gym as well. You know what I mean? For those of you who just heard me tell this story a million times, I sparred Robert Brandt. I think Robert has a minor middleweight title right now, but I sparred him in 2010. And the first time I've ever sparred. You know what I mean? So I know how it feels to get punched in the face. But also did my thing in the gym too when I fought other guys. So, but I'm not sure if you're talking to me or not, man, but I want to interject. Um, Golden Glove says when you are manufactured champ like AJ, you would be fed an illusion that he did so many great things in a short period of time. He got the belts against lesser oppositions. I get where you're coming from, Golden Gloves, but at the same time, though, even though you feel as if he was placed there and given opportunities, you still have to um, overcome situations to be successful when those opportunities are given to you. Because he could have got blown away against Charles Martin. He could have got blown away against a old Klitschko. He could have got blown away against Dillian White in that domestic showdown. He could have got hit with a left hook and blown away against Povetkin. I'm not going to just keep thinking all that shit was luck. You know what I mean? He beat Joseph Parker. I thought it was a draw, but he won on the scorecards. He beat, so he's had some good victories, man. Now, has he fought Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder? No, he hasn't fought all those guys yet. Well, Andy Ruiz beat him. You know what I mean? So, um, I get what you're trying to say as far as him being given opportunities and coming. But hey, man, that's the pleasure of coming out the Olympics with a gold medal. A lot of guys get a head start when they get that gold medal. Look at a guy like Ray Leonard, who had like I think he signed for like 50,000 or something like that. Don't let me get the line, but some big purse or some money they gave him. I think he had like a contract on CBS or something like that. Guys are given more when you have that's the glamorous life of a gold medalist. You dig what I'm saying? Now, not everybody gets that treatment because Andre Ward wasn't given a whole bunch of things like that. But usually, gold medalists get those opportunities like that. It's like a reward. You know what I mean? Now, again, it all depends what happens when um, get those situations presented to you. Some guys have to come up from the ground up, like a Marvin Hagler, had to grind it out and grit and you know what I mean. I love those stories as well. So I get what you're saying, though. I totally get what you're saying. D.O.B. Newly says, I don't get the manufactured theory. He beat a lot of decent, recognizable names. I think it's just more what they're saying, bro, is just being given the opportunities early. But you have to show and prove, though. See, that's the thing. You still got to show and prove. I mean, you can tell Usyk, who's coming up, like, hey, we want to just give you an opportunity against Wilder. Don't mean he's going to fucking win. You still got to go out there and beat him. You know what I mean? Or we're just going to give you an opportunity against Povetkin or whoever it is. You still got to go out there and show and prove, though. Yeah, Brian once said same thing with De La Hoya headlining off the bat. Yeah, man, them gold medalists, man. Especially if you have the look that they perceive to be fan friendly and marketable and things like that, and you got a gold medal and you have a nice smile and you have a women fan. Women love to come out and watch you and things like that and so on and so forth. Or every kid wants to be like you. You know what I mean? They're going to put you in position to make so where they can make money off you and you can make some bread too. But they're going to get the hype machine behind you. And when I say hype, that's what I mean. Just the hype machine. Put you on posters and billboards. The gold medalist making his pro debut. That's all hype. That's still hype. Yeah, I'm thinking he's a troll too, man. Like I thought he was. I think I answered one question and it was something that was a boxing, and then after that it started to kind of get trying to start to get a little bit trollish. You know what I mean? He got a little bit trollish, a little bit, but it is what it is. Let me see. I'm gonna answer a few more, y'all, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. I know y'all got other things to do. Marlo's corner was good, bro. Y'all go sub to Marlo's corner. He says Ruiz used Povetkin game plan. I'm sure that's what he meant. He said with more punches made him hook with the hooker. Yeah, Povetkin was very he had some good spots, but he just wouldn't follow up. It was like Povetkin was good with just, okay, I landed, now I'm out of there. Where Ruiz was landed and I'm gonna still walk you down. Povetkin tried to, play on the outside with him, trying to, move his head. And technically he was doing things right, not rushing in and things like that, but he should have kept the pressure on AJ. Pressure sometimes, and I like to call it front foot pressure. Mr. Boxing, what do you mean by front foot pressure? When you're stepping to the guy with that lead foot, you're stepping to him. Pressure isn't always Joe Frazier coming out throwing left and right hand bombs, get up in your chest, bobbing and weaving, Mike Tyson. It's not. That's not just pressure. Sometimes you can pressure a guy by just standing on top of him by stepping to him. You guys may be trying to fill each other out, probing with jabs, but just stepping to him will raise his anxiety. get him sweating. You can pressure guys like that. I remember Floyd was doing that to Zab later. Is that I know Zab had some good rounds, the first 4 rounds against Floyd, but as that fight went on, Floyd kept stepping to him with the high guard, stepping to him, jab him to the body, jab him to the body. Oops, straight right hand to the face, step to him again, cut the ring off, step to him. Just stepping to guys sometimes can pressure them. They'll get nervous. They'll start to tire out. I know that seems kind of weird, right? Stepping to a guy will pressure them. Some guys don't like to be pressured. They want to be the one to put the pressure on, not be pressured. They want to apply the pressure, not have it applied to them. If you guys can understand what I'm saying. Say less was good, bro. He says, I knew AJ had holes in his game like all fighters do, but he is a bit too predictable, stiff, and he needs better head movement and start clinching more. I agree. Dio Benuli says, what do I think of a Jagbuzz next opponent? You are talking about Ali Eren Demirezen. High guard. I actually did a video on that, bro. If you want to go check that vid out, I just did a video about that fight yesterday, but I'll break it down again. High guard, and guess what he does? Guess what Demirezen does? He doesn't. I don't. From the eye test, doesn't seem like he has as much power as a Jagba, but guess what he does? Moves his head. I see a lot of head movement from him when I watch his amateur fights. When I seen him fight Joe Joyce, although Joyce beat him in the amateurs, I've seen a lot of his amateur fights, some of his pro fights. He moves his head. Sometimes I think it's unnecessary. Now, look, there's also a thing of unnecessary head movement. Mr. Boxing, what do you mean unnecessary head movement? When you're completely out of range of getting hit or landing a glove on that person, and you're moving and bobbing and weaving and just burning energy. You know what I mean? I think that's just unnecessary head movement that can tire you out. So I'm not saying go out there and look like a goddamn jack in the box where your head's popping up and down every other. No, man, not. Let's not get goofy with it. But when you do get in punching range to where you're able to land on him, or he's able to get in on you, you got to move that head, man. You got to move that head. But Demirezen moves his head. He's a hooker. He likes to throw hooks. So maybe he comes over if he ducks under one of them big right hands from a Jagba. A Jagba did a lot of punching and he did a lot of throwing hooks in his last fight against Wallace. If he comes in there predictable, jab, big strong right hand, left hook, jab, right hand, left hook. I mean, Demirezen's been seeing that all through the amateurs. I think that's predictable. So I want to see if a Jagba can, because to me, I always feel like a big man should always be able to. You should always have in your toolbox in your arsenal, especially if you're a big, tall, heavyweight with a long reach. You should be able to win rounds with your jab. I've seen Larry Holmes do it, Ali do it, the Klitschko brothers do it, Lennox Lewis do it. I've seen people do it. That's how, to me, big man. I've heard George Foreman say this on HBO telecast back in the day. That's how big men rest with their jab. Not put up the high guard. I'm going to take your punches and then poke my bottom lip out and say, nope, that don't hurt. No, that's bullshit. That's letting yourself be a damn punching bag. You rest by using your jab. So I want to see can a Jagba win some rounds with his jab if he doesn't knock the guy out because you don't get paid for overtime. But if it's a situation where the guy's making a miss and making it a tactical fight, I want to see if Jagba can adjust to that. You know what I mean? But I've seen the Jaguar just put the high guard up, man. If he gives this guy chances to just to let shots go, and you're just using high guard, anything can get through and hurt you and buzz you, man. So I want to see how he deals with this guy once he starts to duck under punches and make a miss. Will he eventually just catch him, or will he have to go to a plan B? I want to see these things, man. As you guys heard me mention this a million times, I'm just big on head movement, man. You got to learn how to move your head, man. Let me see here. All right, y'all. Let me see. I see a super chat. Neil, I appreciate that. He says, appreciate that super chat. He says, winner of Wilder Fury 2. What's your thoughts? Ooh, good fight. Um, I think it's 50-50, man. Based on what I've seen in the first fight, based on styles. Fury showed to me that, and see, you can't just say if, because if Wilder didn't knock him down twice, he would have won the fight. You know what I mean? Um, you know, if Tyson Fury were to stand and trade with Wilder, he gets knocked out. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's 50-50, man, because Fury is just a bad matchup for anybody, man. Especially if you're head hunting. If Wilder goes in there head hunting, yes, there is a high percent there is a high chance that he lands. Even if he does just decide to head hunt, there's a high chance he put Fury on his ass again and could knock him out. But if he goes out there and he's strategic and he's throwing shots to the body and he's finding ways to set up the right hand, I just see him connecting with his right hand, putting anybody down and out, man. It's just, and I know it's easy to say because that's what he's been doing, but that's just what I see happen. I think he's going to land that right hand sooner or later. It's going to come down to how Fury reacts to getting hit. Um, but Fury did a lot of great things in that fight with Wilder, man. The feints, he was double feinting, triple feinting, pumping the jab, moving, able to clinch on the inside. He was doing some good things. I would edge Wilder, but I still think it's a toss up. But I would edge Wilder in that fight based on, I think Wilder can do his thing from the outside as well. When he's using his jab, when he's snapping it though, not that probing shit, when he's snapping it and he's spearing that jab and it's quick and it's fast. Because his jabs was knocking Tyson Fury's head back. He was doing some damage with that jab. To me, he didn't use it enough. He uses it enough and he aims for the body as well and mixes it up. I think he can win the fight. Tyson Fury, if he can avoid getting clipped and put to the canvas, he proved that he can outbox Deontay Wilder and win on points. I had him up rounds. As far as rounds, I gave Fury 7, but the knockdowns tied the score up as far as the score. So we'll see. But I'll do a much more thorough breakdown on that one, man. Okay, so this dude says Wilder don't want no real smoke. That sound. So if I'm a trainer and I'm putting my fighter in there with Tyson Fury, and you can say whatever you want to say about Tyson Fury was 900 pounds and he was on a Tony Montana coke binge. Okay, whatever. If I'm training a fighter and my guy's fighting Tyson Fury and Luis Ortiz back to back, yeah, we want smoke. That's what you call smoke. That's what you call damn near cancer. That is smoke. If that's not smoke to you, bro, then I don't know how you watch the division. I'm not sure the way you watch these fighters or how you break it down. I'm not sure. But that sounds crazy as hell. Let me see here. Appreciate y'all showing up too, man. IOTBA Boxing Talk. Scrolling down the articles. What's up, bro? Y'all go sub that IOTBA, man. Representing that Dallas, Texas. You dig. All right, let me see here. Malik Osman says, "How do you move your head with a 6'1" fighter?" Easy. Move your head. I mean, there's this like even my wife is saying, just move the motherfucker, man. Like, keep him on the outside. When you feel that he's kind of breaking that line in the sand, Mr. Boxing, what's the line in the sand? The line in the sand is the end of your jab. Once he crosses over, you start to retreat, or you step all the way in and grab him. Roll under, move, lean back a little bit. Go watch Ali, Vitaly Klitschko, Larry Holmes. Watch them fight shorter fighters. Prime example of how to move your head, how to circle away, how to break the rhythm, not always circling to your right. But when you break the rhythm, we circle to your right, circle to the left, left, right, left, 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 right. right. Breaking up the rhythm. There's no, what I mean. There's no like, uh, special remedy, man. Just by moving the motherfucker. That's why I'm a big fan of just realistic workouts when you do boxing. A lot of these dudes do all these high tech shit. Ain't got nothing to do with boxing. All these cross trainer, and I like cross training. I do cross training myself. But when it comes to fighting, though, man, just realistic movements of a fighter is key. Shadow boxing, sparring, bag work. You do enough sparring, you're gonna start moving your head. You know what I mean? Unless you're gonna be in sparring, getting your motherfucking headgear beat off the top of your damn head. That shit gonna be twisted around because you got hit in the head so much because you ain't moving it. Just move the head. Let me see here. Clive Boyce says, any thoughts on Michael Hunter? I think he's got guts and will fight anyone. Good boxer as well. Well, Clive, I believe you were the one that said you've been watching boxing since '85. I know you remember his father, Michael Hunter Sr. You know what I mean? For those of you, go watch Michael Hunter Sr. versus Pink Line Thomas. Slugfest. Um, yeah, bro, you hit it right on the head. A lot of heart. He isn't the most, he isn't the biggest guy. Doesn't punch the hardest, but shit, man, he got Usanov out of there. I know Usanov is long in the tooth, but he's a hard, big dude to stop, man. Beat Martin Bakoli Lunga. They were bringing Hunter in as the opponent for that one. So he's beating bigger guys' ass. You know what I mean? So he has shown that he can not only hang in there with some of the bigger guys, but he can whoop their ass, man. A lot of heart. He got Hakeem Rockman in his corner. He's only lost to Usyk, who's in my opinion, one of the best fighters in the world, in my opinion. Uh, Gave it all he could in that fight. He's an awkward puncher. He has fast hands and he has good stamina. A lot of these big guys, man, that's one advantage that they're not going to have over some of the smaller guys. Is usually if you're a smaller guy, you're perceived to have better stamina, and you should, because you're not lugging around as much weight, as much body mass. You should have better stamina. So if he can always be the guy that's with a better stamina going into the fight, and all he has to do is, all right, see, and all he has to do is, move his head and make sure he's ready to counter and put punches on people. And you guys know that he ain't got to worry so much about big thudding power punching. Nah, man, just be ready to punch when that guy's not ready or when he misses. Then your power will start to accumulate because you're still a grown man in there over fucking 200 pounds punching somebody. You dig what I'm saying? And Deontay Wilder, as powerful as he is, weight wise, he isn't no big guy. Deontay Wilder isn't no 275-pound dude. Weight wise, he's on the smaller, heavy, quote, smaller heavyweight side of things, weight wise. I know he gets a lot of leverage and torque on his punches, obviously. So it ain't so much about weight, man. You got to just bring your attributes in there, man. And I think he has attributes that can get it done. I really do. Make you miss, stamina, good chin, good heart, throws punches in bunches. Something that I've been saying is missing. That's why a guy like Andy Ruiz has always stood out to me. Not just his physique, but he throws punches in bunches. Kind of reminds me of the guys in the '80s. He puts me in the mindset of a Michael Dokes and a Tony Tubbs, and it's as far as putting punches together. Tim Witherspoon to go in there and put punches together. That was one thing that was lacking in this era, man. Where there's always been guys, big heavyweights that like to throw the 1-2, Lennox Lewis, Ali, Holmes, so on and so forth. But those guys will punch in bunches too. Klitschko, Vladimir started the 1-2 clinch, the 1-2-3 clinch, which it worked for him. You know what I mean? Not taking nothing away because it's up to opponents to beat him. It's not for him to say, all right, I'm not going to do what's been working so you can have a fair chance. You know what I mean? No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? But I thought guys back in those days were a little bit more fluid when it came to just letting 6 and 7s go. It was like the norm to watch guys let 5, 6, 7 go all the time at heavyweight. Now it's like almost like you're almost shocked when you see guys that come in there and do that. Some of the advantage, and these are some of the advantages that Holyfield had. I know some of you we'll bring up other issues. But I'm just talking about as a fighter, his style. You know what I mean? BC says Fury isn't likely to hurt Wilder. He doesn't punch hard at the top level. Well, obviously, yeah, he isn't a KO artist. I'm just a big believer. BC is when you have a 260-pound dude in there to punch you in the face at the right time, anything can happen. And I think Fury, what he didn't do, he did a little bit. Yeah, he did a little bit of this, but he didn't do it enough. Fury, in my opinion, should have used his weight to his advantage. Mr. Boxing, what do you mean use his weight to an advantage? Kind of, and look, I know that Deontay Wilder and Cunningham are two totally different fighters. I know that. I know it. I know Cunningham put Fury down. Yes, I know Cunningham is a former cruiserweight champion. I totally know that. But what I'm saying is Fury roughed him up, used his body, leaned on him, was breathing on him, pushing him back, pushing him against the ropes. Some of you may say, Mr. Boxing, Wilder wouldn't allow that. He wouldn't allow that to happen. Well, if Fury really tried to use that game plan, but maybe Fury get clipped on the inside, but to me, use it, put Wilder against the ropes, bang that, as my wife would say, even she noticed this shit, but go to his body, dig to that body, get him against the ropes, get him where he's on the ropes a little bit. But Fury really isn't that type of guy, but I've seen him rough guys up sometime in fights. And Fury really changed his style, y'all. Because if you guys remember Fury earlier, like go watch Fury versus Nikolai Further, the same Further that Deontay Wilder fought. That was a slugfest. And I know he's changed his style up, even in some of his other fights, man, sure. But I know he's changed his style up. But I'm just saying though, he does have that in him. But I think he's just taking the more smarter approach as far as, you know what, why do all that when I can just stick and move? But Fury does have that nastiness in him. Um, and if you're able to control Klitschko in the clinch or on the inside, I think you can control anybody, especially somebody that weighs 40 pounds less than you. You dig? So it's gonna be entertaining, man. But Fury, Wilder got to get past Ortiz. I'm gonna do a special video for that because I'm already at an hour and a half, man. But Wilder and Ortiz is gonna be an interesting matchup. Yes, I know Wilder was like 220 in the 220s for his last fight, but give or take, you know how Wilder is. Sometimes he'll come in a little bit heavier, sometimes he'll come in a little bit lighter. But you guys know what I'm saying, man. He's on the lighter side of a heavyweight, is what I'm saying pretty much. Mr. Boxing Move says, he says, Mr. Boxing, Wilder versus Fury. In your knowledge, do you remember ever a heavyweight champ lose his title, knocking opponent down 2 times and still lost his title? Right off the top of my head, bro, no, I don't remember that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Trying to go through all the heavyweight title holders. Klitschko during his reign, nope, don't remember it. When Chris Bird had the IBF, I don't remember it. When John Ruiz had the strap, I don't remember it. When Holyfield and Bo had it, I don't remember it. When Douglas had it, I don't remember it. When Tyson had it, I don't remember it. When Witherspoon, Tubbs, and Pink Thomas had versions of the strap, I don't remember it. When Larry Holmes had it, I don't remember it. Um, when Solon Bragamoff had the title for briefly, I don't remember it. I'm trying to think here, man. I'm trying to go through everybody. Ken Norton had the title briefly when he was awarded the title. I don't remember it. Mike Weaver when he won the strap from John Tate. Don't remember that. I don't remember it. I don't remember. I'm trying to go back in history, man. Joe Louis, Ezra Charles, and Walcott. I don't remember. I'm trying to think. I don't remember. Don't ever remember it happening. Let me see. Patterson, Johansson. No, I don't remember, man. Don't remember. Somebody says, so I see, so I, what he says, so I feel the belt should be vacated. Okay, I know what y'all talking about. Let me see. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, man. Dominic Hardy says Jennings versus Joyce is a solid matchup. Jennings can't afford to lose anymore at this stage of his career. Joyce is vulnerable since he does have a lot of speed. He has a lot of speed, but he has size and power. Yep, I actually did a video on that one, bro. If you didn't check that out, Dominic Hardy, go ahead and check that video I did yesterday. I broke down that fight. Um, the Beyonder says in a 12 round fight, and you've lost every round but the two knockdown downs. Yes, Mr. Boxing moves. Okay, Beyonder, I kind of disagree with you on that one, bro. I thought he won more than just the 2 rounds, and I broke that down thoroughly, so I don't want to keep rehashing this. If you guys didn't see my breakdown, you can look that up. I did like a mini documentary where uh, I went over the fight. I broke it down round by round. After each round, I broke down what I saw exactly and who I gave the round. So I gave Wilder 5 rounds. All right. I broke that down. If you want to check that out, and I kind of uh, also recorded just my journey on the airport, going there, going out to LA, and things like that. So if you want to check that one out, man. But I thought he won way more than 2 rounds. I gave him 5. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all showing up. Good chopping up with y'all, man. We family up in here, man. Even if you're a troll, obviously you do want to still hear some boxing talk. You just kind of, I don't know if you're trolling just to get my attention, but bro, you can get my attention with just regular boxing talk, man. I'm not one of them dudes where you got to get my attention by saying something fucking crazy. You know what I mean? But I appreciate everybody showing up, though, man. Y'all be easy. I'm gone.